It's important to read because, well, your mind needs to grow and everything. And when you read, it teaches you new things and new words, which helps your mind grow.
Literacy on Wheels is a mobile learning station. It's kind of like the literacy nights that you have at school, but we're doing it district-wide so that students can get information from multiple specialists and not just the one stationed at their school. So as parents and students are walking in, they'll see literacy and numeracy stations. So we have both reading, literature, and math stations for them to interact with, and it's for kindergarten through 8th grade. So we have a wide variety of activities for them to complete. So based on last year's ACAP scores, we're about 36% proficient as a system, where we were only 16% about the year before, and so it's our goal to help raise proficiency by getting parents involved with literacy at home.
So in previous school years, we knew that literacy counted and literacy mattered. Well, now we understand that we must do our part. These Literacy on Wheels is a start.
Well, we actually did grocery store math. Mainly because a lot of children have difficulty with adding and subtracting, and this is a great activity for students, well, for parents to do with their children when they go to the grocery store. They can add up items, and then they can pretend that they have money and they can calculate their change. A lot of kids have problems with that, so this is something fun for them to do to learn how to add and subtract.
My favorite part about reading is probably the comprehension. Like reading, it just lets you know all of the things that you need to learn, and also it helps you build your foundational skills.
I think my favorite part about tonight was just all the activities and learning that all the stations had. Some of my stations, we did long multiplication, we did fractions, it was some English and ELA. My favorite part about reading is definitely the books, because like I can imagine stuff. I don't just have to read it, I can imagine it all throughout how I'm reading.
What I hope to gain from this is more information that can help my little ones at home so they can be successful in the school year. At home, promoting literacy, right now we're working on sight words nightly, and thankful to MPS this year, they were able to bring home packets. It was a math and literacy packet, so therefore we're able to work on it each night. Our parents that could not come tonight are welcome to reach out to our schools, and each of our schools should have information for them that they can take away to implement some of these literacy skills. They can also reach us at the district office, through our parent engagement office, or through the library media specialist. We'd love to help them.
Our first recipient is Shonda Tolliver from Booker T. Washington High
I nominated Ms. Tolliver for the Herman Moore Lamp Award because she is exemplary. She's one of those library media specialists that is representative of the best of our craft. When I think about Ms. Tolliver, I call her my artsy, crafty, mathy, sciencey librarian, because she gets the value of books and reading and literacy, but she also gets the value of a well-rounded whole student, that she can embrace the art side of them, she can embrace the math side of them, she can embrace the science side of them, she can embrace anything they need.
So when I found out I was going to receive the award, I was very mixed emotions. I was like, are you sure? I was nervous, I was excited that I was even thought of for this honor. I think that it shows that there's so much with MPS. There's more with MPS, and there's more with MPS libraries. So I am on the backs of those individuals like Ms. Huntley, who have laid the foundation for us in literacy and others. So I'm very, very humbled, very, very excited. Not just for myself, but this represents Booker T. Washington as well, and my students and the work that they do.
I could not recommend Ms. Tolliver for this award.
Robotics here in Montgomery Public Schools, they have 24 elementary school teams this year. The students have been practicing and competing with each other since September of last year, so they're really excited about it, and they're learning how to code and do computer skills as well. So today we have our third annual elementary robotics competition, which the students are super excited. Like I said, they've been practicing all year and they're here to compete. And so we have 24 schools competing, and then shortly we'll announce the top 5 winners and then the top 2 winners. And so they're really excited to see who's going to win for the district. So we're trying to build the future engineers and careers of Montgomery Public Schools, and we want to produce those students from our school district. And I truly believe that they have the capacity to do that. And so with robotics, they learn how to code, they learn how to do engineering, design skills, computer skills. And so we're just ensuring that our students are prepared and ready.
I wanted to join robotics because I wanted to have some type of impact on my school year for my last year at Blount Elementary. I got involved in competition because I'm the main spotter and the captain, so I have to be able to be loud and be able to call it the plays so my teammates know what they're doing. It's really fun. Joining robotics is like joining an entire new world. It gets you hyped, it gets you ready for the technical evolution of the world that's going on right now.
Involvement in robotics aligns with our school's education and values because our theme this year was we were steaming up for the best instruction. So we were really trying to implement the science, the technology, engineering, and math. And this was our very first year for us having a robotics team. So we focused on collaborative efforts, looking at the science with the coding, looking at mathematics. And not only have we involved that with our robotics team, but school-wide with STEM days, and really exposing our kids to new adventures through hands-on project-based learning.
My child has benefited from being involved with robotics. He's learning how to strategize different things, how to work around obstacles, and how to figure things out. So I think that helps, and that's very beneficial.
I feel like that extra activities such as robotics is important to students because it gives them more opportunity to explore themselves, create their characters, more than just physical sports. Because a lot of kids, they don't like the physical sports, so this gives them a lot more opportunity to learn and grow in things that interest them. I feel like my child has benefited from being in robotics. He's come out of his shell a little bit. He's my oldest of 3. So this has definitely brought him out, and he's always telling me about what he's doing and what he's learning and things he's figured out together. And it just helps him build a little more character and problem solving skills. So it's really good for him.
I love my school. I love Brutech. I'm very proud of Brutech. I've had a great time here. I found some of my best friends here. I've met new people here. I've gotten new opportunities here. I can truly say Brutech has built me to be the person I am right now.
Everybody's so supportive and encouraging for everything you do, honestly, and everybody is so friendly. We get to come in every day and experience what we want to do for the rest of our lives. It's very inclusive here. There's something for everyone. There's a club for everyone. There's an academy for everyone. You're just not stuck in one box. There's something you could do for any interest you have.
My biggest advice would be for the parents to be engaged with your child. Find out what your child really likes and ask questions as to why. In society, it is so driven about money and making great money, but until that they actually get a chance to do hands-on, they really don't know what they like. There's different types of learners. We have people who are auditory learners, who are visual learners, who are kinesthetic learners, those that use their hands. Knowing what type of learner that you are is going to be the best advice that I can give when you're talking about matriculating through other programs within the school.
We are here today at BTW Magnet High School for the MPS annual hiring fair. We have a group of staff and employees from MPS. We have human resources, of course. We have our education partners, our substitute staffing partners. We have a group of principals here. We have our benefits team, a certification specialist. We have our amazing security team here ready to recruit. We have logistics, child nutrition services, transportation, our school nurses, special education, and our counseling staff. So our certified positions are traditional teaching positions. We also have an opportunity for an alternative route to certification. So we have a certification specialist here within human resources who can speak to individuals who may have a degree, but they don't have that teaching certificate yet. So she's providing information to them about what that looks like. So they can become engaged with, employed with MPS, but be enrolled in a program that's a route to obtaining their teaching certificate. So after that conversation with her, they can go over to our education partners and identify what programs they have available. Not all of our positions in MPS are teaching positions. We also have those support positions that support those individuals who are front-facing to our students on a daily basis. So those are the other positions like our clerical, our administrative, child nutrition, logistics, transportation, maintenance, as we talked about earlier. The hiring managers and staff who are here today, they're having conversations with individuals about the opportunities that we have available. They're also having some of those initial conversations and even short interviews with them if they find someone, or speaking to individuals who they're interested in. And once we get back to central office, we'll continue the interview and hiring process. We also have kiosks at the back of the gymnasium here where individuals can go sit down while they're here and fill out applications before they leave. But it doesn't end here today. Anyone can continue to go on our website, view, search, and apply for any vacancies that we have available now and in the future. They can go to mps.k12.al.us and search for employment.
Good evening. Welcome everyone to this pivotal moment for the Montgomery County Public Schools. Today, as we gather here, we unite as unity around a shared purpose, the future of our children. Our students are more than just the heart of our schools, they are the promise of tomorrow. They represent the dreams, the aspirations, and the limitless potential that drives us every single day. Every decision we make, every step we take as a district is rooted in the belief that every child deserves the best opportunities to learn, grow, and thrive. That's why today is so important. We are here to present to you an exceptional finalist in our search for the next superintendent of our schools. This individual has dedicated his career to education, leadership, and above all, to the success of students. He has shown a deep commitment to creating an environment where children not only achieve academically, but also develop the confidence and courage to pursue their passion and make their mark on the world. At this time, we will bring out Dr. Byrd, but before we do, we will bring out Dr. Joseph from HYA, who has worked with the Montgomery County Board of Education in the search. He will be our moderator for the evening. Let us show a round of applause and welcome him to the stage.
Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day. What an opportunity we have over the course of this next 2 days to see your two finalists for the superintendent position here in Montgomery County Schools. So this evening, I'm just going to communicate how the night will flow. We will have the first candidate come out, and they will have 15 minutes to share a little bit about themselves, and also they'll have an opportunity to share about their vision for the district their first 100 days. Once that concludes in 15 minutes, we're going to open it up for questions. So you should have received an index card. If you have not done so, kindly raise your hand and we'll make sure somebody gets you one. The goal will be, if you have a question, to please write that question down. Those questions will be collected and we'll have an opportunity to ask questions from the floor. In addition, we had an opportunity to have dozens of questions come in from the public at large. So I'll read a combination of questions that came in prior to us beginning and questions from the audience, but we want to make sure you leave with all of your questions answered. So we'll facilitate that for about an hour, and then we will wrap up this evening. Okay? So without further ado, we will bring your first candidate out, Dr. Zacchaeus Byrd. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. I would like to say a special thank you to our Board of Education for not only for this opportunity, but for working so hard to make this opportunity possible. And I also like to thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to actually be with us on tonight and to actually be engaged in this process. Thank you all for the opportunity to talk about what and how we're going to chart a course towards excellence in Montgomery Public Schools. So, my name is Zacchaeus Byrd, and I was born and raised in Pritchard, Alabama, to a single mom who did the very best she could to raise her two boys at the time. My mom, she married when I was 5 years old, and she moved us to a very rural county called Washington County. And in Washington County, I had the opportunity to attend and graduate from a 1A high school. But I thank God that I was able to matriculate to college after that. You see, just like many of you all, I wanted to attend Alabama State University, but it was a small college in Selma, Alabama, called Concordia College that actually offered me the opportunity. And it was there, ladies and gentlemen, that I realized that I was not college nor career ready. Because I remember sitting in those seats, and I remember watching the professors actually write the content on the board. I remember listening to the professors explain the requirements. And I knew then, I didn't understand the content, nor did I understand the requirements, but I knew the expectations that were before me. And ladies and gentlemen, it was through those struggles, it was through those long days and long nights of actually sitting in a remediation lab, asking my classmates for help, that's when I realized that I wanted to be an educator. But not just any educator, I wanted to be the best educator. Because I didn't want any students to experience that struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as a father of a child that actually attended both magnet and traditional schools right here at Montgomery Public Schools. I stand before you as a husband of a wife that actually teaches right here in Montgomery Public Schools. I stand before you as a former employee of Montgomery Public Schools, and I stand before you as a resident and a taxpayer of Montgomery, Alabama. On these hallowed grounds, where Rosa Parks said, "Enough is enough," on these hallowed grounds, where Dr. King and John Lewis said, and they fought for equal opportunity for all of us, I stand before you all right now ready to fight to make sure that we make our city better by making our school system better. Ladies and gentlemen, my experiences as a teacher, as an assistant principal, as a principal, as an education administrator with the State Department of Education, Also, as a former executive director of leadership in Montgomery Public Schools, all of my years of experience working as a superintendent in 3 different school systems right here in the state of Alabama. My experiences of actually working beyond K-12 and actually educating some of our college students right now. All of those experiences, they have prepared me for this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, but most importantly, I stand before you, standing on Jeremiah 29:11, where the Lord said, "For I know the plan that I have for you." Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. The plan is right now. We have our mission. We have our vision. We understand our core values. We're going to make sure that these wonderful words, that they are more than just words that we have on a poster. We're going to make sure that we live out. We're going to make sure that we model these words daily. We're going to make sure that we're going to make sure that our core values, that they actually become the framework of our culture and climate model right here in Montgomery Public Schools. There's a famous college professor by the name of Jim Collins. Jim Collins actually teaches at Harvard University, and he is known for his best-selling book called From Good to Great. In his book, he actually talks about how good organizations move from good to great. And if you read that book, you will learn a whole lot. And he says a lot of things. He actually states that it is impossible to make good decisions without the infusion of honest confrontation or the brutal facts. Simply put, you can't move forward unless you address the big elephants that are in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to address the big elephants. 36, 16, 23. Those numbers, they are so ingrained in everything that we do in Montgomery Public Schools. 36% proficiency in ELA, 16% proficiency in math, 23% proficiency in science. We have to do better. And you know what? We can. We have the resources and we have the know-how. We simply have to make sure that we align our resources and our know-how in order to move data, to make sure that we are addressing the needs of our students. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't blame employees for bad data. I blame employees when we're not doing something about the data. So it's time for us to reassess what we're doing, and let's look at what it takes in order to make sure that our children are great. What it takes to make sure that we're providing our students with every opportunity that we can give them. The same thing can be said about our graduation rate at 79%. Same thing can be said about our 63% college and career readiness rate. Same thing can be said about our chronic and absenteeism rate at 28%. Again, our teachers are working hard. We have to make sure that we are providing them with the supports and the resources that they need. So let's talk about the brutal facts. Let's talk about the big elephants in the room. So what I'm going to present to you is my first 100-day plan. And we're going to focus on 5 priorities. First one being, we're going to build trust with the board and the community. We're going to address the big elephant in the room. My plan is that I'm going to conduct listening and learning tours in every single school in this district. I'm going to make sure that I go beyond the schools, and I'm going to have town halls. I'm going to go into the communities. I'm going to go to wherever our stakeholders are. I'm going to make sure that I listen to learn, but not just listen and learn. We're going to do something about it. I look forward to the opportunity of actually meeting with our politicians. I look forward to meeting with the mayor, meeting with the city council, meeting with the county commissioners, meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, meeting with the state representatives. I look forward to meeting with everybody because I look forward to the opportunity to say, let's do what we need to do for children. This is what we know and understand. It's impossible for the city to move forward without the school district. It's impossible for the school district to move forward without the city. One can't move without the other. So we have to make sure that we are working hand in hand to do what's right for our children and do what's right for our citizens. I look forward to those conversations, but I look forward to the work. I look forward to establishing advisory councils and task forces. So we can identify our strengths, so that we can address our weaknesses, and we can move forward as a school district. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know and understand, I'm more than just words. I'm all about accountability, and I want you to hold me accountable. And I'm going to make it easy for you, because what I'm going to put together is I'm going to put together a live well link that's called our first 100 days. Every single thing that I say tonight, I'm going to also put it on that website, because I want you to track everything that I said that I'm doing, and I want you to hold me accountable. We're also going to make sure that we hold our district accountable, because we're going to make sure that we put our student performance data out there for the public to see. We're going to also show what are we doing about the data. We're going to make sure that we rebuild the trust in Montgomery Public Schools. We're going to make sure that we address priority number 2. We're going to establish a transition team to support the implementation of our strategic plan. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some of the best minds right here in the state of Alabama. We have some of the best minds working in our school district. We have some of the best minds that are working in our colleges. You know what we're going to do? We're going to bring all these great minds together, because we're going to make sure that our strategic plan, that it addresses the needs of our students. We want to make sure that our plan, that it is the best plan. Why? Because it impacts our children. We're going to make sure that we are clear about our big goals. This is one thing that I have come to know, that after 25 years in education, I figured out why we don't move as fast as we want to move. You know why? Because we're doing too much. Because we lack focus. So what are we going to do? We're going to make sure that we focus on the focus. We're going to make sure that we're going to look at our data analytics. We're going to look at our critical thinking. We're going to look at rigorous instruction and student engagement, and we're going to look at curriculum implementation. So what are you saying, Zacchaeus? Break it down. I'm saying that we're going to use data to drive instruction and decisions. I'm saying that we're going to ensure that all of our higher order thinking skills are actually infused in the curriculum. I'm going to make sure that we actually help our teachers to unpack the standards, so they know what to teach, when to teach it, and how to teach it. I'm going to make sure that we have rigorous instruction and student engagement. We're going to make sure that we implement good Tier 1 instruction. But we're also going to make sure that we prepare our teachers for Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions as well. All the while making sure that we are placing our students on an advanced pathway. We're also going to make sure that we're going to make sure that our curriculum, that it is rigorous, that it's relevant, and it's responsive to the needs of our children. We're going to make sure that we look at priority number 4. We're going to revisit our strategic planning process. I know our employees that they have done an absolutely wonderful job putting our strategic plan together. They've done a wonderful job. But I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to go and revisit it. Why? Because I want us to be clear about our accountability measures and our targets. I want to make sure that our goals, that they are big enough. I want to make sure that we are raising expectations for our teachers as well as our students. Most importantly, I want to make sure that you have a voice in the process. I want to make sure that all of our spending, our actions, that they are tied to our strategic plan. I want to make sure that our school improvement plans at our local schools are also tied to the strategic plan. I want us to have the opportunity to revisit it. Our 5th goal, we're going to establish a value chain and dashboards to set goals and targets. What am I saying? I'm saying this. We talk a lot about the portrait of a graduate. And yes, that is our ultimate goal, to make sure that our students are college and career ready, that they are ready for this world, that they are ready for the workforce. But ladies and gentlemen, listen. I can't expect Mr. Hall over here, principal right here at Carver High School, I can't expect Mr. Hall and his teachers to perform a miracle when we're sending him students that are 2 and 3 grade levels behind. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to happen. So we have to make sure that we are clear about our goals and our targets. We know that student deficits, that they are cumulative and they grow over time if they're not addressed. So we're going to make sure that we address them early. How do we do that? We're going to start at the very beginning. We're going to start at the very beginning, making sure that before our students leave kindergarten and they enter the first grade, we're going to make sure that we implement a first grade readiness assessment. We're going to make sure that we get this thing right. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we do this thing right, all of our students will be reading on grade level by 3rd grade. If we do this thing right, all of our students will be on an advanced pathway by 5th grade. Because this is what we know. In order for our students to be proficient in calculus in high school, they need to be on an advanced pathway by 5th grade. And we have to make sure that that happens. If we do this thing just right, we won't have to worry about the ACAP because all of our students are going to score proficient. If we do this thing right, that we will see an increase in our pre-ACT scores in middle school. If we do this thing right, ladies and gentlemen, we will truly have a portrait of a graduate. At the end of our 100 days, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this first year, we're going to be able to celebrate, and we're going to celebrate big, because we're going to celebrate the fact that all of our students, our parents, and our staff are clear about our goals. We're going to celebrate the fact that we're going to invest early in our early intervention programs. Our goal is to make sure that all of our students are on an advanced pathway, but we realize that some of our students are going to struggle. So we're going to make sure that we are intentional about our targeted interventions. And we're going to address those deficits just like that and put them right back on that advanced pathway. If we do this thing right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see increases in all of our subjects and all of our core subjects. And we will truly make sure that our students are college and career ready. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. I absolutely love this city. I absolutely love this school system. And I'm excited about the path that we're getting ready to go on for Montgomery Public Schools. I'm excited about this big old MPS train, because this train is moving one step closer to excellence. I'm so excited, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to come out of retirement and I want to join you in this fight. I want to jump on board. Let's do what's right for our children. Let's make sure that our school system is great. And we're going to make that happen. Thank you all so much for this opportunity to speak before you. I apologize that I had to rush, but they told me I only had 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm sure I've gone over that time. But we have a QR code for you right here, and of course, it actually has the 100 plan in more details. Please feel free to scan it, and it would actually have more details. Thank you all so much for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Byrd, for that presentation. Once again, everybody, you have a QR code where you can scan. So now, Dr. Byrd, we're going to transition into questions. I'll begin with questions that were sent previously, and if we could have staff go around and collect questions. If you have a question, just raise it in the air. Somebody will retrieve it, and then I'll ask that question, but we want to make sure we answer your question. So a question that came previously is, this one was directed directly to you. Here it says, many are aware that you were the superintendent of the Selma public school system a few months ago. Given the current state of Selma school system and the recent State Board of Education intervention due to improperly processing $12.1 million in federal funding, what will you do to prevent improper mishandling of any educational funds designated to the Montgomery County school system?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that question. And also, let me be very clear about that question as well. Now, of course, I was actually superintendent of Selma City Schools. Now, the school district that is actually receiving state intervention, that is actually Dallas County. Okay, so that's Dallas County. And Selma City Schools, of course, what in our resources, our finances, they were great. As a matter of fact, what in due to the increase in enrollment, what in that we had, and of course, and we're excited about that because our enrollment, it had been decreasing for over 10 years, and so we were excited that we were able to increase our enrollment. But that actually produced more revenue for Selma City Schools, and we actually have a healthy reserve. Our audit was clear with no citations, and so the school district that you all are referring to, that's Dallas County, not Selma City.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay. Next question. What is your opinion on teacher retention in Montgomery Public Schools, and how do you plan to retain high qualified teachers?
So our teachers, they are the foundation to our district success. And I absolutely believe that we have to do a better job with recruiting and retaining our teachers. So this is what I believe. And again, in order for us to move forward, in order for us to achieve, we have to make sure that we are placing the best teachers in front of our students. So as many of you all know and have heard, I believe in teacher incentives. I believe in recruitment, retention, and academic incentive bonuses. So while I was superintendent in Selma City Schools, during my first year, we actually offered $5,000 in recruitment and retention bonuses. And my second year, we actually offered $7,500 in recruitment and retention bonuses. So I absolutely believe that we have to do a better job in actually investing in our employees. Because it's just like that book that we all know, in that if you don't feed the teachers, they will actually eat the children. And so we have to make sure that we're doing a better job of actually investing in our teachers. And I want us I want us to be able to realign our resources and make sure that the money that we are spending in our programs, a lot of that could be diverted to our teachers. We need to make sure that we're doing a better job of actually investing in our teachers. But this is also what I know. This is what I know. Money may be a reason why that teachers come, but it won't be the reason why that teachers stay. Teachers and all employees, they want to feel valued. They want to feel appreciated. So we're going to make sure, of course, that we work with our administrators. We're going to make sure that we work with our central office people to make sure that we are actually producing environments where teachers feel valued, appreciated, and heard. That's going to be our remedy to make sure that we actually keep our teachers and our employees in Montgomery Public Schools. But we also have to make sure that we're investing in our teachers' mental health. In Selma City Schools, we actually had what we call self-care rooms because they were important. Our teachers do an absolutely wonderful job, and they are under a lot of stress. We made sure that we invested in rooms so that we could actually take care of them. We had self-care rooms, and we are thankful for the donations that we were able to receive in order to decorate them, but those rooms were set up just like spas. The lights were dim, they were filled with reclining furniture, they were filled with snacks, they were filled with light music. All those things that actually give our teachers a break. All those things that actually allow our teachers to refresh. And we made sure that time that it was uninterrupted. We have to make sure that we are providing our teachers with the supports that they need because our teachers are the foundation to our district success, and we have to make sure that we treat them that way. We have to make sure that the same time and effort that we're putting into making sure that our students are safe, happy, and motivated, we have to make sure that we're doing the same thing for our employees as well.
Thank you so much. Question from the audience. How will you work with the city and county elected officials and city leaders?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How will you work with city and county elected officials and city leaders?
Thank you so much for that question. I look forward to the opportunity. I look forward to the opportunity to sit with our city leaders. Like I said before, I look forward to sitting with the mayor. I look forward to sitting with the county commission, with our city council, with the Chamber of Commerce, with all of our elected politicians. I look forward to sitting down so that we can actually reason together. I look forward to let's make sure that we get this thing right. I consider myself as a great collaborator. I consider myself to be a great bridge builder. I have no ego whatsoever. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be the first one to make the phone call. I'm going to make sure I'm the first one to knock on the door. Why? Because it's important for our children. We're going to talk about what we need to do in order to rebuild these relationships. We're going to talk about what we need to do to help our children. Because like I said before, one doesn't work without the other. If our school system is going to be great, our city has to be great. If our city is going to be great, our school district has to be great. And the only way we can make that happen is that we have got to work together. We have got to work together. Okay.
Thank you. Next, how will you tackle maintenance in existing school buildings? This is from a community member.
Maintenance in existing
in school buildings.
So I look forward into the opportunity of actually meeting with our director of maintenance, and I look forward into actually touring every school. And so this is going to happen within my first 100 days. I'm going to make sure that I tour every school. I'm going to make sure that I sit with our department heads, and we're going to figure out what we need to do to make sure that we're taking care of our buildings. Because we know that if we take care of our buildings, that if we make the early investments, we won't have to make the huge investments later. I've had the opportunity to tour a lot of our schools on today. And yes, and I see we can do a better job. We're going to make sure that we do a better job of actually training our custodians. We're going to make sure that we do a better job of actually having regular checks. We're going to make sure that we do a better job in making sure that our environments, that they are actually conducive to learning. Our children attend these schools. Our employees attend these schools. And we have to make sure that environment, that it is conducive for all of them. And so I look forward to the opportunity of actually meeting with our maintenance staff, looking at our budget, and making sure that we are aligning our resources to make sure that we take care of those needs.
Thank you. Now we have a question from an elected official, and that question is, what does a security plan look like to you in regards to children and faculty's safety?
Thank you so much. So my vision is to ensure that all of our students and our employees are able to walk in buildings that are safe, that are secure, and that are conducive to learning. So we're going to make sure that we do just that. So in all of my previous districts, we've been able to strengthen the physical locations of all of our buildings. We've been able to strengthen the security locations. So of course, we've made investments in those things that we oftentimes see. Of course, we've made investment in cameras. We've made investments in scanners. We've made sure that we've made investments into the sirens and everything. We've made sure that we work with our police department, again, to make sure that we have all of those tools in place to ensure that our students are safe. But we also have to make sure that we understand that safety goes beyond just being physically safe. We have to make sure that we are also investing in the mental health as well. We have to make sure that we are investing in those resources that would actually allow our students to have some of those wraparound services. We're going to make sure, of course, that all of our buildings are safe, and we have an absolutely wonderful security team right here in MPS. And we're going to make sure that we connect them with the sheriff, with the police department. We're going to make sure that we do all those things. But I also want to make sure that we are providing for our student safety in regards to mental health as well. So we're going to invest in mental health coordinators. We're going to invest in behavior interventionists. We're going to invest in social workers. We're going to make sure that we take care of the whole child.
Another question from a community leader. What does public-private partnership look like for our district and schools?
Public-private partnerships would then look just like my plan to increase our strategic partnerships. We have to make sure that we are taking care of students both inside and outside of the classrooms. And the only way that can happen is that we have to forge those private and public relationships. We have to make sure that we are providing for our students. We have to realize again that when we talk about partnerships, we have to realize, of course, we want our stakeholders and our parents in our buildings, because we know that a child's first teacher is the parent. But we also know that those mentoring programs, that they are important. We also know that those internship programs, that they are important. We also know, of course, that we have to partner with our public and private organizations because our students need to earn those credentials. So that partnership is vital. It's vital to our success. We want to make sure that we are producing students that are ready for the workforce. And the only way that we can do that is that we've got to make sure that we increase those strategic partnerships. So how does that look? That looks like all of us would coming to the table and actually building more relationships, building on the relationships that we have, and even having more partnerships.
Here's another question from someone who submitted it prior to our arrival. And this question is, what is your experience with charter schools, and where do you see charter schools fitting in Montgomery Public Schools?
Gotcha. So thank you for that question. So thankfully, and of course, during my retirement, I've been very busy. I've had a very busy retirement, and I'm thankful for that because I've been able to work with school districts and superintendents in helping them to inform their practices. I've had the opportunity to do what I absolutely love, and that is actually teach at the junior college and the university. But I've also had the opportunity to work with charter schools as well. So I've been working with the Charter School Foundation in order to help them to improve their practices. I've been helping them to re-examine their applications. And so I've also had the opportunity to visit charter schools all over the state. I've had the opportunity to go beyond the state. And so, of course, my experiences with charter schools, they are quite extensive. And we see some of the great things that charter schools can do. And we can actually take some of those practices, and we're going to infuse them into what we do in Montgomery Public Schools. But we know, of course, that charter schools, that they are here, and we know charter schools, that they are here to stay. We have to make sure that we're doing a better job in MPS so that we can actually keep our students. We have to, because again, the competition is here. The competition is here. We are losing on average about 1,000 students per year. And with the Choice Act and all of the other acts that the legislators are bringing forward, the competition is great. So we have to make sure that we are getting this thing right because we are sharing our students with many entities. And so we have to make sure that we are doing a good job right here in the MPS so we don't have to worry about our students transferring to charter schools. We don't have to worry about our students trying to go to private schools because we're going to provide them every opportunity that they need right here in MPS.
In that vein, another question that came in was, Montgomery Public Schools has a number of schools labeled as failing. What is your plan to move beyond punitive accountability measures and actually improve teaching and learning in those schools?
So my vision is for all of our schools to be schools of excellence. I want all of our schools to be centers for excellence. I want our schools to be that teachers are able to teach, students are able to learn. I want our teaching to be strong, and I want our lessons to be engaging. But we have to make investments in order to make that happen. We can't just sit up here and blame this school and that school. We have to do what we need to do. First thing that we have to do, like I said before, is that we have to invest in our teachers. We have to make sure that we are providing our teachers with the support and the tools that they need to deliver good quality instruction for our students. If our instructional framework is strategic teaching, we have to make sure that we train our teachers on the model. We have to make sure. We have to make sure that we have to make sure that our interventions, that they are targeted. But in order for that to happen, our teachers, they need to be trained on differentiated instruction. Our teachers, they need to be trained on Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. Our teachers need to be trained on using data to drive instruction. We have, I know, weekly data meetings or bi-weekly data meetings. But this is my question. Are our teachers leaving those data meetings with a plan? Because when they leave those data meetings, they should leave with an ILP, with an individual learning plan for those students. Are our teachers being supported? Are our principals actually going in and actually modeling lessons for our teachers? Are our instructional coaches actually going in and actually modeling lessons for our teachers? Are we being strategic with our partnerships? Again, a parent is a child's first teacher. Are we engaging our parents? Are we calling our parents to the table and asking them for help? Are we calling on the pastors and other mentors to come in and actually provide assistance? Because again, we have to provide supports both inside and outside of the classroom. Are we being transparent with our communications? Do our parents know all of the events that are actually occurring in Montgomery Public Schools? Is it easy for them? Do they receive notifications on their phones? Or do they have to go to the website? And are the websites clear? We're going to stop with the blame game, and we're going to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that all of our students succeed. We have a list of things that we have to do, and we're going to get busy to doing those things.
Thank you. Another question is from inside this audience is, how will you include athletics and other extracurricular activities in the budget to foster the whole child, not just academically?
Thank you for that question. This is what I absolutely believe. This is what I believe. And don't shoot the messenger. I believe in extracurricular activities. I believe in athletics. So much so that I want to make sure that we actually invest in athletics. Because this is what we know, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we know. A lot of our students actually come to school for the athletics. We have to think about this thing. Athletics is what actually brings a lot of our children to the front door. But when we get them to the front door, we have to keep them. We have to engage them. I'm going to go a little bit even more simple about this thing. This is what I believe. This is what I've seen, because I've been in a district that has actually won a state championship. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, it changes the whole culture and climate. It changes the entire community. You want to talk about engagement? Win a championship. You want to talk about partnerships? Win a championship. We have to make sure that we are investing in good coaches, because this is also one of the things that I know. If you have good coaches in the building, that's going to take care of half your problems right there. Because if those coaches are speaking the same language that we're speaking, high expectations, accountability, going beyond, achieving on the next level, if we're all talking about the same things, ladies and gentlemen, the battle is halfway won. It's our job to make sure that we are providing them with every opportunity imaginable. So, to answer your question about athletics, I absolutely believe in athletics. I absolutely believe that we need to invest more. I believe that athletics and academics, that they go hand in hand.
Thank you. A longtime citizen asked, how would you incentivize retired teachers to return to the classroom and for current teachers to remain in our classrooms?
We're going to do just that. We're going to incentivize them to come. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to tug on their hearts. I'm going to tug on their hearts. And I know many great teachers that have retired from Montgomery Public Schools. I know many great administrators that have retired from Montgomery Public Schools. And I'm going to find them. I'm going to reach out to them. And I'm going to tug on their hearts. But I'm also going to give them a little bit extra as well. Because, I know the rules of retirement. And we have to make sure that we work around those things. Again, all of our citizens, I know that they want the very best for our children. We have to make sure that we are clear about our needs. We have to make sure that we're clear. We have to make sure that we are going out. We have to make sure that we are going out into the communities and we are compelling all of our people, come on in, we need you. And we're going to do just that. We're going to pull on their heartstrings. We're going to pull on their dedication, but we're also going to offer them incentive as well. And that's how we're going to be able to get them back into our schools.
Thank you. A community member wants to know, why did you leave your last position? And what was the greatest lesson you took away from that experience that you will bring to Montgomery Public Schools?
Okay. So why did I leave my last position? I'm going to go back early into my career. I had a wonderful principal by the name of Marva Carter. I was 20 years old. I was the only male in the school. And Miss Carter, she actually treated me just like I was her child. Miss Carter, she made sure, Miss Carter felt as though that she had to tell me everything. And as a young teacher, I listened to Miss Carter. Miss Carter said, and she called me all kind of names. And after she couldn't get my first name right, she just called me Baby Z. She said, Baby Z, this is what I want you to do. I want to make sure that you invest early into your retirement. I want to make sure, baby Z, that you know that you need to come to work every day, that those sick leave days, that they're going to count up for you. If you can come to work, you come to work. And every time you actually get a raise, you take a portion of that raise and you actually invest it into RSA. So I knew as a young man of what I wanted to do. I made sure I knew I wanted to retire at the age of 25 years because I'm going to be truthful and honest with you. My goal was to retire at 25 years and then do something else. And I did just that. I was able to retire with 26 years of experiences. And I was excited about actually expanding my reach. And so that's exactly what I've done. Right now, I'm actually working with school districts and I'm helping other superintendents to better inform their practices. I'm working right now doing what I absolutely love, teaching on the junior college and the college level. And like I said before, I'm also working with charter schools and private schools. So I'm actually doing all of the things that I love on my own time. But this is the thing about it. I live in Montgomery. My child attended Montgomery Public Schools. I'm a former employee of Montgomery Public Schools. I see what's going on in our communities. I have the opportunity to work with freshmen and sophomores right here in Montgomery, Alabama. And I hear about some of the things that they're going through. I want to make sure that we are truly preparing our students to be college and career ready. And I think that we can do a better job at it. So when this opportunity came forward, I felt the call. Like I said before, Montgomery Public Schools, I love this place. And to be honest with you, this is my dream job. I want to make sure that I'm jumping into this fight with you. Yes, I'm still young. I'm young. I got plenty of gas in the tank. I'm not planning on leaving here. I could drive into Montgomery and Georgia, but then I realized I don't even like driving anymore. Because I've been here and I drove to Selma. I was here, I drove those backwoods of Barbara County. I'm tired of driving. The work is here. The calling is here. And I'm ready to jump back in this fight with you. I'm ready to jump back. I've accomplished that thing that I said I wanted to accomplish and retire after 25 years, but that's not working for me. There's only so many episodes of Rifleman and Gunsmoke and Andy Griffin that a person could actually watch. I'm ready to jump back into this fight, and I want to jump into this fight with you.
Thank you. This is a two-part question. The first part is, what unpopular actions are you willing to take to accomplish the goals of the strategic plan? And the second part of the question is, give an example of where you had to make an unpopular decision for the greater good. So we'll go to the first part, and then we'll come back to the second because it's kind of long. So first, what unpopular actions are you willing to take to accomplish the goals of the strategic plan?
Thank you for that question. I'm absolutely fine with being unpopular. I am absolutely fine with the names that people call. The most unpopular thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to hold people accountable. Most unpopular thing would probably be a realignment of some positions. The most unpopular thing would probably be tying principal contracts to accountability measures. The most unpopular thing is going to be accountability. And I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Because this is what I know. I know that the state of Alabama, I know that all of the districts that I've worked in, this wonderful retirement entity that we call RSA, they have allowed me to have a pretty good life. They have allowed all of you all to have a pretty good life. We have a wonderful health insurance plan. We're able to go wherever we want to go. We get paid a decent salary. Don't you think our children deserve the same opportunities? I do. I don't believe in robbing anybody. And I'm sorry to say, but we have some people, just like everywhere, that are robbing the system. And we're going to stop it. We're going to hold people accountable. This is what I know. I'm fine with being unpopular because my thing is this right here. I'm not going to treat you harshly. I'm not one of those individuals that is going to treat you badly or anything like that. That's not me. I simply use data to drive decisions. That's it. That's it. I simply use data to drive decisions. And it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are responsible for children. These same children are going to take care of us. So I take this job seriously. I take this job seriously. I remember being in a high school where the focus wasn't where it should be. I had some wonderful teachers, but I also had some good coaches as well. And the focus always wasn't about academics, because on Mondays and Tuesdays, we would spend time talking about Friday night's game. On Wednesday, we may have gotten a little instruction, but on Thursdays and Fridays, we were out there trying to get the field ready, to get the court ready. And as children, we thought that was wonderful. We thought that was great until it came time to take that ACT. We thought that was great until it came time to take that graduation exam. I don't want any child to experience what I had to experience in college. And I thank God, because it was nothing but the blessings of God that I was able to get it in college, whereas I didn't get it in high school. But I was able to get it in college, and that changed my life. That sparked my passion for education. That made me want to be the best teacher and administrator that I could be. So I'm absolutely fine with being unpopular. We're going to use data to drive decisions, just like in the business world. I'm sorry, if you are not producing the results, you can't stay. It's about productivity. You can't expect to be a manager in any business and have low productivity. Shouldn't we expect the same thing out of our administrators? If you are leading this building and you are not producing good results, it's nothing personal, but you gotta go. And we're gonna put somebody in place that can. It's not personal at all. It's about doing what's right for children.
And the second part of the question, can you give an example of where you had to make an unpopular decision for the greater good?
In every district that I've been in, I've had to go into the central office and I've had to realign some positions. In every district that I've been in, there have been individuals that were not aligned with the expectations. It was nothing personal. I simply called you in, we talked about the data, and we talked about the exit plan. I've done that in every district that I've served. I walked into a school district in Barber County. I walked into the district, and the district was financially unstable. On my first day, I had to go to the bank and realize that we didn't have any money in the bank. As a matter of fact, we were in the negative. On the first day, I had to go in and actually declare a reduction in force. We had to do what we had to do to make sure that we could stabilize the district. I've made a lot of unpopular decisions, but it's always been for the betterment of our children. And that's what we would do here.
Thank you. Next, a community member wants to know, what is your plan to address the high absenteeism rate in Montgomery Public Schools and the lack of seat time?
Thank you for that question. We know that chronic absenteeism is extremely too high. As a matter of fact, our chronic absenteeism rate is increasing instead of decreasing. We have to go in and make sure that we actually identify the barriers. We have to identify the barriers, and that's going to take a lot of work. and it's going to take holding a lot of people accountable. Let's figure out the reason why our children are not coming to schools. I can think of one reason. Right now, I visited a school on today, and I visited this area many times. You know, we have children that are walking all the way from Garrett Coliseum to Capitol Heights. We have children that are walking these long distances. So guess what? Whenever it's raining, they're not coming. Whenever it's cold outside, they're not coming. Whenever it's dark outside, they're not coming. That's a huge barrier right there that can easily be fixed. We decreased chronic absenteeism in Selma by 10% in 1 year because we identified the barriers and we fixed them. I'm sorry it was unpopular to the bus drivers for me to ask you to make a stop at the individual houses. I know it was comfortable for you to simply have bus stops, and you may have had 5 bus stops on your route. But guess what? That wasn't working. That wasn't working because our children were actually struggling to get there. In my first year in Selma, we actually implemented a whole transportation system because we didn't provide transportation, but we provided it when I got there. Because I didn't want our children walking past drug-infested communities. I didn't want our children walking past abandoned houses. I wanted our children to feel safe. We're going to address chronic absenteeism by actually removing the barriers. We're going to get our list. We're going to work our list. We're going to call on our principals because this is the thing about it. Principals, if you see to where you have 20% of your students that are absent, I want to see your list. I want to know the number of parents you have called. Because if you have 20% absence a day, in 1 day, just imagine how many you're going to have for that week. Why are they not showing up? We have to go to where our parents are. And I look forward to getting that list because I'm going to spend my Saturday mornings in actually knocking on some of these doors so I can actually identify some of these barriers as well. I'm going to make sure that we do what we can do to address these barriers. We also have to go beyond our traditional thinking. We know that some of our students aren't coming to schools because some of our students have responsibilities. Some of our children are actually taking care of the families. Some of our children actually have parenting responsibilities. So we have to rethink this thing. We have to rethink it. There's no rule that says that school has to start between the hours of 8 and 3. That's a tradition. We have to do what we need to do for our students. So we're going to expand our alternative learning programs. And we can do this. We can offer virtual school. We can offer twilight schools. We can do whatever we need to do to address the needs of our students. So the first step of actually addressing chronic absenteeism is to make sure that we are able to identify the barriers. But what good is identifying them if we're not going to do anything about it? We got talented people on our staff. I want to know what are we going to do, but not just what are we going to do, what are we going to do differently? Because I'm not concerned about the tradition because tradition hasn't worked. What are we going to do differently to address the needs of our students?
Thank you. We're at the 30-minute mark, so I know that water tastes good right now if you had some. But the next question that we have comes from a parent. And that question is, what sets you apart from the other candidates other than living in the district?
My passion, my commitment, my experiences. I truly want to do what's best for our children. For me, this is not about a promotion. For me, this is not about a stepping stone. Now, this is going to truly be it for me. This is going to be it. Because again, because I see myself easily spending another 10 or 15 years. Because I'm committed. I'm committed to doing so. With other people, and again, I've been in some of these conversations, and I've heard superintendents actually talk about the positions. I've heard superintendents actually brag about being superintendents of large districts. I've heard them say that my role is just to be the face of the district. And that has always bothered me. That has always bothered me. Because our role is not just to be the face of the district. This is called service. Service. If you are in these positions, you have an obligation to do what's right for children. What sets me apart is that I actually love to work. As a matter of fact, I'm planning on, because again, and I'm the kind of person to where I stay up late at night. And I would do that even in Montgomery Public Schools, because I'm going to make sure that I spend the majority of my day, I'm going to spend the majority of my day in the classrooms. I'm going to spend the majority of my day in trying to help teachers. I'm going to model for teachers. I'm going to model for the other employees, because this is the expectation. If I, as the superintendent, if I'm going to go and actually provide these teachers with support, provide these principals with support, then you better believe that I'm expecting everybody in that office to do the same. We don't need people sitting in offices. We got over 430 non-certified teachers in this district that need support. We have veteran teachers in this district that need support. So it's no time to sit in these offices. We have to go out and actually support our teachers. Just imagine if the number of people that we have in the central office were dispatched out to these schools. Just imagine if we had what I like to call accountability measures, whose job it is to actually conduct equity audits, to make sure that we are providing equitable resources for all of our students, that we are aligning our resources to the areas with the greatest need. Just imagine if we had accountability managers that were walking in schools to assess the culture and the climate. If we want our parents to be engaged in our schools, we need to treat them like that. We're going to focus on good customer service. Good customer service. Because this is the thing about it. We've gone to businesses, and if those businesses gave us horrible customer service, guess what? We didn't frequent those businesses anymore. Because we as individuals want to feel valued and appreciated. Our parents deserve the same opportunity. When our stakeholders walk into our buildings, they should feel valued, appreciated, and heard. Just imagine if we had people whose job it was to go out here and actually inspect what we expect. Just imagine the changes that would occur. So to answer your question, what sets me apart is that I actually want to do the work. I want to do the work. I guarantee you, you will not find another individual that is more committed than I am. I may not come in the perfect package. I may not come in the perfect package. But I guarantee you, I'm coming to do what's right for children. I'm coming to do what's right for children. I wished I came in the perfect package, but I'm more concerned about doing what's right for children. My feet are going to be on the ground. I'll be glad to meet with you after 3 o'clock. I stay at that office for 8, 9, 10 o'clock. I've done it in all my other districts. We're going to make sure that we change the focus. You're not going to find another individual that is more committed to Montgomery Public Schools than I am. That's what sets me apart.
Thank you. A question from online. With the growing number of scholars being diagnosed with autism and other different abilities that hinder them from productively learning in the general setting, what are your plans to enhance the learning experience of students, especially in special education, so that they aren't passed through the system?
Thank you for that question. My vision and goal is to make sure that we provide a high-quality education for all of our students, regardless of race, gender, ability, or disability. We have to make sure that we are providing a high-quality education for all of our students. We have to make sure that we are providing our teachers with the support that they need. We have to make sure that we are training our teachers on those differentiated instruction strategies. We have to make sure that we are training our teachers on those co-teaching strategies. We have to make sure that we are actually training our teachers on a universal design of learning model. We have to make sure that we are actually including all of our students. Inclusion is not a strategy. Inclusion is actually rooted in equity and a sense of belonging. We're not going to separate our children. Yes, we will provide them with the resources that they need. We're going to make sure that we implement the IEP plan to fidelity. We're going to make sure that we actually involve our parents in the development of that IEP, but we're going to make sure that we raise expectations. We're going to raise expectations for all of our students because the ultimate goal is to make sure that we actually provide for all of our students, that we make sure that when they leave Montgomery Public Schools, that they are actually ready for life. Just because our students wouldn't have a disability, that doesn't mean that our students can't learn. We're going to make sure that we provide them with the tools and the resources that they need so they can succeed. We have an obligation to do that. We're going to make sure that we address the needs of all of our students.
Thank you. Our next question, how firm will you be when making decisions to the board? In other words, will you be easily intimidated to change your plans?
Thank you for that question.
Well, you're welcome.
So in my experience, I've had the opportunity to work with many boards. Many boards. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. And I've found, of course, once the board members understand our vision and our mission, once board members are on board, everybody wants to do what's right for children. So sure, we may have to refine our practices. I have to do a better job in making sure that I am clear in regards to our communications. I believe that a board should never be surprised about anything. And I've always worked hard to make sure that I kept my board members informed about everything. I've always made sure that we had clear communication channels, that I talked to them about what's the best mode of communication that actually fits you. Some individuals like phone calls, some individuals like text messages, some of them prefer group messages. So we made sure that we actually understood from the very beginning. We made sure, of course, that we discussed roles and responsibilities. I made sure that I stayed in my lane. We had honest and respectful communications when somebody was going outside of their lane, but we handled them respectfully. We made sure that everyone was clear about the mission and the vision. I made sure that I always used data to have these discussions, because this is what I found out. Because if it's centered on the data, we can talk about how does this impact children? Is this equitable? Is this right? Is this in the best interest of our district? And when you do that, and when you keep the focus about the data and the children, politics doesn't come into play. A lot of things don't come into place because we are reminded about our roles. We are reminded about our mission and our vision. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of boards, and I think that all of my board members can say that we've always had a great relationship. And I know that we have 7 wonderful board members that are on our board, and they are all committed. They are all passionate about doing what's best for children. And I look forward to jumping on this train and actually working with them to make sure that we're going to do what's best for Montgomery Public Schools.
And here's our final question from the audience. And I apologize, we did have dozens of questions come in from online, but we wanted to have 45 minutes to talk in addition to the 15. So this will be our final question, but I wanted to make sure we captured it from someone who took the time to come with us here today, which is, please share your plan on increasing student enrollment in the district.
Thank you. My plan for increasing student enrollment in our district is to make sure that we're doing this thing right. We have to make sure that we are clear and transparent about all of the great things that are actually happening in Montgomery Public Schools. I had the opportunity to tour some of our schools on today, and the things that are taking place in our schools are absolutely amazing. Our students have amazing opportunities, and our students are doing wonderful things. I met ambassadors at all of our schools, and I think all of those ambassadors should be on TV. We have to do a better job of actually telling our story. We have to do a better job in making sure that we are providing for the needs of our students. We have to do a better job in actually being more transparent to our communities. I oftentimes wouldn't get accused of actually being too transparent, because in my experiences, I found out that the more transparent that you are, the less problems you will actually have in the future. Our parents want to know about what's going on in our schools, whether it be good or bad. They want to know. Our parents will trust our school district if we're more transparent with them, if we are actually refining our practices. I believe in healthy competition, because healthy competition, it actually keeps us on our toes. It makes sure that we actually are improving our strategies. I look forward into Montgomery Public Schools with them being a model of this state. We're already here at the state capitol. We already have a lot of eyes on us. We have to make sure that we're doing this thing right. We have the resources. We have the talents. We have to tell our story. All of the wonderful opportunities that our students have, we got to do a better job of telling our story. I don't think that there is any other district, I don't think that there is any other school, charter or private, that can match what we offer in Montgomery Public Schools. And we have to tell the story. We have to make sure that we're more innovative. We have to make sure that we are providing our students with more opportunities than they can get anywhere else. That means we got to rethink things. We may have to look at more virtual opportunities. We may have to look at twilight opportunities. We may have to look at what in our focus areas and think about areas that would actually draw our students. In Connecticut County, we actually implemented an agricultural program. And so we were really radical with this program. And so at our schools, I wanted to make sure that we were offering our students something that they had never had before. And so in Connecticut County, with it being a rural county, I had the idea of what about if we actually taught farming? What about if we actually went and tapped into those students that actually enjoy raising cattle? What if we actually went and tapped into those students that actually love to ride horses? What about we actually tapped into those students that love the opportunity to experience nature on the outside? And so you know what we did? We actually added another career tech program. We actually placed cows on the school's campus. And so when students were driving up on the buses and they were driving up to the school, imagine them looking to the left and seeing the cows in the pasture on their campus. That resonated with a lot of our students. That resonated with a lot of our communities. And guess what? We were able to draw students from the private schools. We were able to draw students from the home schools. We were able to enroll them in Connecticut County schools simply because we were willing to do something different. We have to make sure that we are addressing the needs of all of our communities. We have to be more creative. We have to be more innovative. We have to make sure that we are offering something better than any other school district, and we have the resources to do so. That's how we're going to improve. That's how we're going to increase our enrollment. All the while, making sure that we take care of students, making sure that we provide good customer service to our parents. We're going to also provide that Chick-fil-A kind of customer service. You all know that Chick-fil-A? That Chick-fil-A kind of customer service, and that's what we did in Selma. I wanted to make sure that our customer service was so great that I actually put up QR codes on all of the exit doors. After we train our staff on how to engage with parents, after we train our secretaries about how to answer the phones, after we train our principals on how to engage with parents, I believed in inspecting what I expected. So when parents left the door, when parents left the school, they used their phones, they scanned the QR code, and they filled out a survey. Because I want to know, how was your experience at our school today? And I used that data to have conversations with our principals. I use that as one of their metrics. We're going to improve customer service. We're going to do some wonderful things here in Montgomery Public Schools. I got some great ideas, and I'm just getting started. Just getting started.
Thank you, Dr. Byrd. And at this time, speaking of QR codes, if we could put Dr. Byrd's QR code up once again for his 100-day plan. And while they're doing that, Dr. Byrd, in 2 minutes or less, we'll give you a concluding statement.
Again, thank you all so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As I said before, I absolutely love this city. I absolutely love this school district. I love it so much, again, that I want to join you in this fight. I want to join you. We have great opportunities. We have great opportunities. Our students have so many possibilities. The sky is the limit for our students. We don't have any excuses. We don't have barriers that we can't address. We don't have barriers that we can't address. It may be hard in actually addressing those barriers, but guess what? Our students are worth it. Our school district is worth it. Our city is worth it. And we got some amazing people in this school district. We got some amazing adults, and we got some amazing students. And I'm excited. I'm absolutely excited about the opportunity of rejoining you. I'm excited about the opportunities that are there for our adults and students. And I want to get on the train. This train is bound for glory, as a song once said. I'm ready to jump on this train. I'm ready to fight with you. We are moving one step closer to excellence, and that time is now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I believe at this time, there is a reception outside. You'll have an opportunity to informally engage with Dr. Byrd, and there'll be an opportunity for media to speak with Dr. Byrd as well at this time. So we can transition outside. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here, and please come back tomorrow for part 2 with our second candidate, Dr. Harold Wright.